Disha Mataji, please stop the kirtan. I'm audible, Prabhuji, now?
Yes, I'm trying to, I thought I'd try using this headphone and hope that the sound quality would be improved. What do you think?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, it is better, Prabhuji. Yeah,
Okay.
it is better, Prabhuji. So we'll welcome His Grace Sarva-drik Prabhuji, Prabhupada disciple. So once more, and he already actually gave lecture, and it was very amazing. And today is also very important lecture. The reasons for appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, internal reason and external reasons. So Prabhuji, you can start, Prabhu.
Okay. We'll start. First, I'd like to congratulate you, Prabhu, on your initiation, accepting the shelter of His Holiness Bhakti-vriksha, officially joining our ISKCON family. So he's a very
and Prabhuji, if you need skin sharing also, you can do the sharing, or Disha Mataji also can help from Chaitanya Charitamrita or whatever the scriptures from BACE. You just tell, so she can do that skin sharing.
I didn't set it up. I did do some research because this is a very detailed topic. I'll just read what I have. So I won't be using screen sharing. So let me first offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshataya He Guru Dhyanada Deena Bandhu Swanandadata Puranaika Sindhu Vrindavana Sena Hita Avtana Vasida Radha Panaya Pracharya Vande Nantad Putashayam Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Nichopi Yaprasada Sad Bhakti Shastra Pavartika Nityananda Mahamnami Sarvananda Karam Harinam Kadam Devam Bhavadu Kishayam Vande Rupa Sanatana Shri Gopala Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Vasudeva Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Pancha Kopati Krishna Kapha Sundari Kapati Tamam Sadhu Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So the topic for today were the internal and external reasons for the appearance of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. The super important topic, and it's very in-depth topic also. I'm not very qualified. Actually, Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji instructed one devotee, read Chaitanya Charitamrita 100 times, and then try and delve into this subject. This subject, Prabhupada also mentioned, is for completely self-realized souls. So I don't fit in that category, but let us examine the relevant instructions we find in Chaitanya Charitamrita, instructions from Srila Prabhupada, and see if we can stir the nectar and get something out of it. So first thing we should understand is, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? We talk of him as an avatar, but technically he's not an avatar at all. Lord appears in different avatars: Ram, Nishinga, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Parashuram, Baladev. They're all avatars. And we speak of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that way, but technically speaking, he's not avatar at all. Rather, he's Swayam Rup Bhagavan. He's original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Radha Bhava Subalitam Nomi Krishna Surupam, covered with the ecstatic emotional experience of Srimati Radhika. So he's not an avatar, he's Krishna himself, and that isn't our opinion, rather this is Shastra. In the Mahabharata, we read, Suvarna Varna Hemlango Varangas Chantanangidi Sanyasa Krishtama Shanta Nishta Shanti Parayana. That the Lord comes as a great sannyasi who is very, very peaceful, whose body is anointed with chandan, who is hemanga, golden complexion, This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described in Mahabharata. Also, when Lord Krishna was getting his Namkarana, Sandipina Muni did the Namkarana in a cowshed out of fear for Kansa. Of course, this is Leela because Krishna is Kansaha, he's Kansari, Kansaha, Kansavad, he killed Kansa. Like beating him on the chest, he can lift his eyebrow and kill millions of Kansas. But in Leela, the parents and the family priest, Sandipini Muni, are very fearful for this child, knowing of Kansa's atrocities. So they did the Namkarana in a cowshed. And when he gave the information about this child's birth, he said, Shukla Rakta Tata Pita Edanim Krishnatam Gataha. Said this child who appears in this form as black as Krishna also appears in white form, red form, and Pita, yellowish form. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in 11th canto we read also Krishna Varnam Tasha Krishnam Sangopam Gashta Parshadam Jagyai Sankirtana Praya Yajantihi Sumedasa. Krishna Varnam, Srila Prabhupada explains, has two meanings. Krishna Varnam means that the Lord comes vibrating his own name, the two syllables, Krishna. And Krishna Varna also means the category of Krishna, like we say Brahma Varna, Kshatriya Varna, Vaishya Varna, Shudra Varna, the category. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the category, in the category of Krishna himself. He's the Supreme Lord. And how does he come? Sango Pangrashtra Parshadam. He comes with his associates, the Panchatattva. Lord he's famous for killing demons. And he kills some with his chakra, some with his club. He has his weapons. But when he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, two things. He comes not to kill the demons outright, but comes to kill the demoniac mentality. And what are his weapons? Sangha Pangarshta Parshad, his Parshada, his associates. Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Charya, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivas Thakur are his associates. And together, what did they do? Jagyai Sankirtana Prayar. They introduced the process of worship. Yajantihi Sumedasa. Yajanti means to worship. So they introduced the process of worship, the process of self-realization in Kali Yuga, which is Krishna Sankirtanam, Nama Sankirtanam. Actually, the whole Bhagavatam ends with this. After 18,000 verses, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamu Dukkha Shamanastam Tam Namami Param Gatim. That the whole Bhagavatam, after 18,000 verses, what is the message we get? Nama Sankirtan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to introduce this Nama Sankirtan. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, this person, Lord Krishna, came for two reasons. There's exoteric reason and esoteric reason. Exoteric means the obvious reason, the apparent reason that is easily, well, actually, we should say more easily understood. And that is his mission, the Sankirtan mission, to distribute the holy name and to give Krishna Prema. We prayed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratashe. And he came, Gauratashe, with the golden complexion. And what did he give? Krishna Prema Pradayate. He's giving out Krishna Prema. Therefore, Rupa Goswami calls him Mahavadanavatara. Because it's difficult to understand God, let alone understand love of God. It's a monumental achievement just to understand what is God, especially in Kali Yuga. People have no brain to even ask the relevant questions to understand who is God. And mostly religious process in this age is based on getting things from God. They go to the church, the masjid, the mandir, the gurudwara, the synagogue. They fold their hands, they bow down, and they pray to God, give me things. I want a house, I want a car, a bank balance, I want health and wealth and prosperity and recognition, a husband, a wife, a baby. Everyone has a very long list of things they want from God. They make God order supplier. But this is projita, kaitava dharma. Bhagavatam says projita dharma projita kaitavatva paramo nirmatsaranam satam. That Bhagavatam kicks out this type of cheating religion, calls it kaitava dharma, to make God your order supplier. So just if someone can grasp this simple idea is revolutionary. What to speak of be the recipient of love of God. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. And he came to give the most rarefied, esoteric, intimate relationship with the Lord. Srila Rupa Goswami prayed, Anarpita chirim chirat karunaya vatirna kalo samarpayutum unato jalarasam sabhakti shriyam Hare Purata Sundara Jyoti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spirituva Sachinandana. That's Anarpita Chirim Chirat. That after a very long time, Lord has come in this form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Especially, we're particularly fortunate because he was just here. He comes once in the day of Brahma. That's trillions of years. Mahaprabhu was just here. You can go and visit those places where he was here in Mayapur, where he was born, where he performed Shiva Sangan, Yoga Pit. Visit those places that where his great devotees, his eternal associates lived. He was just here. And this, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in every millennium, he comes in other millenniums as Gaura Narayan. He's not giving Krishna Prema. In this yuga, he's giving Krishna Prema Pradayate. So because of that, he's called Mahavadana, most munificent, most kind, most generous avatar of the Lord. Parama Koruna Pahudu Jena Nitai Gaura Chandra Saba Avatar Sa Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. Srila Lord Chandas Thakur prayed like this, that Parama Koruna, he is the top most merciful Lord. Mahudvijana, these two lords, Nityananda Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, most munificent. Saba Avatar Sar Shiromani, they're the essence, Sar, means the essence, the cream of all avatars. Why? Because they're giving love of God. Other avatars give liberation, they give protection, they give many benefits, many blessings. But nobody gives what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. What is that? Unato jalarasam sabhakti shriyam. Unato jalarasam means highest intimate relationship with the Lord. Swabhakti shriyam. Swabhakti means his own ecstatic emotional experience of love of God. And that is his internal reason. We'll get to that in the second part of the class. But let us first understand a little bit about his external reason. He came to distribute the holy name, to establish the Harinam Sankirtan. There's a nice quote in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chirada tattam nijagupta vittam suprema namam ritam atudhara. The most munificent Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Gaura Krishna, distributed to everyone, even the lowest of men, his own confidential treasury in the form of the nectar of love of himself and the holy name. This was never given to the people at any time before. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So Nijagupta Vittam means his own personal, confidential property. What is that? Swaprema. Love for himself. He's giving love for himself. He's chanting the holy name. He's chanting his own name and experiencing love of God. And he's giving that Swabhakti Shriyam. He's distributing that Krishna Prema Pradayate to the lowest class of people in Kali Yuga, in the most unfortunate age. Kale doshanadhe rajan eko yasti mahadguna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha parambraja. This age of Kali is described in Bhagavatam 11th canto as the most degraded age, an ocean of faults. Doshanidhe, faults in politics, faults in relationships, faults in the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink. Faulty things everywhere you look in Kali Yuga. Hardly there's any good thing about this age, except one good thing, one extraordinary thing. Ego yasti mahadguna. Mahadguna means one extraordinary thing. Kirtana deva krishnasya. By doing Krishna kirtan, by chanting the holy name of Krishna, when it's liberated and returns to the kingdom of God. By this simple thing. And that we can hardly do. Just by chanting Krishna's name, we're liberated and we go back to Godhead. Because Krishna kirtan, the chanting of Krishna's name is the most important, most powerful amongst all the Navavidya Bhakti, 9 processes of Bhakti. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Dharmaje nama shrishta. Dharmaje nama shrishta, nama sankirtan. Niraparadi nama lodi paya premadan. Paya premadan. By chanting holy name, we get love of God. This simple thing, singing God's name. Why is that? Because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are the same. Padma Purana says, Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Vinatvam Nama Namino. That the name of Krishna and the person Krishna are identical in fullness, in eternity, in purity, eternality. Krishna's name and Krishna's same. So when we chant holy name, especially in sankirtan, sankirtan means and the association of many devotees. Like here in Mayapur, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to Jivanuga Prabhu, but every evening here in Mayapur at 4:30, I think they may jump back to 5 o'clock because Kartik is over now and they were breaking early so devotees could go offer lamps. But 4:30, 5 o'clock, devotees gather for Harinam Sankirtan. Sankirtan means chanting of the holy name and association of devotees. And devotees from all over the world come from China, from Africa, America, South America, Italy, Russia, many Russian devotees come, Ukraine. In Ukraine, the Russians and the Ukrainians are killing each other. And here they're chanting and laughing and dancing and loving each other. This is the power of Harinam Sankirtan. So devotees from all over the world gather for this thing, Nama Sankirtan, because this Nama Sankirtan Paya Premadan, will give love of God. The highest thing, the most rare thing in Kali Yuga. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish that. Another quote here from Adi Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nama Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the 4 mellows of loving service, loving devotional service. I shall accept the role of a devotee, and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. This is a very important thing to understand. That this is the Yuga Dharma. In previous ages, they meditated. Kriteya Dhyayato Vishnu Tvetayam Yajagomakai Dvapare Parichayam Kalodhan Hari Kirtana. Previous ages, they meditated. For 60,000 years, they meditated. They did yajna and offered tons of ghee and gold and precious jewels in the fire, a sacrifice. And the demigods would personally come to the earth to receive their share of the offerings. In Dwapara Yuga, they did ideal deity worship in the temple, Archan Marg. But none of that's possible successfully in this age. We do deity worship also, but it's an anga. We can say it's an anga of Nam Sankirtan, of Bhagavad Vidhi. Panchatriki Vidhi is an anga of Bhagavad Vidhi. Bhagavad Vidhi means chanting Harinam, preaching, book distribution, opening temples. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu came specifically for this, to promote, to distribute, to disperse the chanting, to introduce it all over the world. And it's the most amazing thing for me when I go and hear this beautiful kirtan sung by Chinese devotees, by African devotees, by American devotees, South Africa, all amazing devotees that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sent all over the world. Because this chanting of Krishna's name, the process, Yuga Dharma, has gone all over the world by his will. And devotees have been sent, are taking birth all over the world to promote the chanting of the holy name. Because this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, Viti viti chacha nagarati gram, sarvatra pachor hoibe more nam. That my name will be chanted in every town and village of the planet. And it's not theoretical. Srila Prabhupada made it a reality. He didn't take this as an analogy or metaphor. He took it as absolute truth. And he made it happen. He took the holy name to every continent of the world. Every continent, except I think Antarctica. I don't think he introduced it to the penguins in Antarctica. But otherwise, he took to every continent of the world, chanting of the holy name, fulfilling the mood and mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. So this is the result of the chanting of Krishna's name. It's not just about chanting Hare Krishna, becoming free from sinful life, pacifying the mind, being self-realized, understanding I'm not this body, living a successful life. All those things are corollary benefits, sub-benefits, side benefits. The real benefit of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Nam Sankirtan is that we realize our relationship with Krishna. As it says here, in one of the four mellows of loving devotional service. In Sakhiras, Vatsalyaras, Madhuryaras, Dasyaras, we realize our place in Krishna Lila because we have a place. We have a place there in the kingdom of God in a particular relationship with Krishna. Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj stated that our eternal Siddha Deya, our Siddha relationship, our Siddha identity, our perfected identity in the kingdom of God, Goloka, is realized, experienced, how? In the syllables of the holy name. Simply in the syllables of holy name. That this chanting of Krishna's name awakens love of God, not in an impersonal way, that all the same, but in a specific relationship with the Lord, our love of God is awakened in one of these different rasas, typically in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, in these higher rasas, Sakhya ras, Vatsalya ras, Madhurya ras. So we get the opportunity by the gradual development of Krishna consciousness to participate with the Lord, to reciprocate with the Lord in one of those relationships. That is the result of chanting this holy name. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give that. It says, Shastra says, Prema Nama Pracharite E Avatar. I have given the essential meaning of the fourth verse, is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This incarnation, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, descends to propagate the chanting of the holy name and spread love of God. Elsewhere it says, Chirakala nahi karan prema bhakti dhan, bhakti vina jagater nahi avastan. For a long time, I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. So Krishna is coming to give loving devotion to himself in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada said something, gave a very nice explanation of this point. he said that when Krishna was here, he spoke Bhagavad Gita. He talked about karma yoga, niskam karma, jnana yoga. He spoke many things. But ultimately he says, Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam. You surrender to me. Mamekam sharanam. Take shelter of me, surrender to me exclusively. But he didn't give the process how to do that. What does that mean? What is the process to become manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namas? How to become devotee? What does it mean? What is the process? How to awaken that? So he said, Srila Prabhupada explained, Krishna thought to himself, let me come again and show what is the process. So he came as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu to show what is the process to awaken love of God, to awaken dormant love of God. Because it is dormant in our heart. And the process of awakening, Krishna, Nitya Siddha Krishna, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kavanai, Shravanadi, Shuddha Chitte, Korea Udaya. That by hearing, our love of God, our dormant love of God is awakened within our heart. It's like understanding who we are and awakening that relationship. How? Shravanadi, Shuddha Chitte. Our chitta, our consciousness becomes purified, Shuddha Chitte, by hearing, Shravanadi, beginning with hearing. By hearing the holy name, chanting the holy name, participating in Nam Sankirtan, our consciousness is purified. And what is the result? Our love of God that is dormant in our heart is awakened. Because, frankly speaking, we're in complete illusion. We're thinking, I'm an American, I'm Indian, I'm Chinese, I'm African, tall, short, skinny, fat, black, white, yellow, brown, man, woman, weak, strong, smart, dumb. A host of designations. These are called in Vedas as upadhis. And the first installment of mercy in Krishna Bhakti is to give up those upadhis, to be upadhi mukta, to become free from upadhis. Sarva upadhi vanirmuktam, tatparatena nirmalam, rishikena rishikesha sevanam, bhakti uchate. What does bhakti mean? What is the first hurdle we have to overcome, that most of us are still working on, is identification with the body. Dehinosman yata dehi komaram javat asmin dehe. We're within the body, we're not the body, but still we identify with the body. So by hearing Shravanadi, Shuddha Chitte, by hearing our consciousness is purified, and we directly experience freedom from the bodily conception of life by this simple process, yoga dharma, chanting the holy name of the Lord, hearing about him, Harikatha, hearing Bhagavatam, chanting his name, chanting japa, reading about him. This is all in the category of hearing. And by this process, Korea joy, love of God, that's dormant in our heart, is awakened. Now, another thing that's important to understand, in this same section, in the 4th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Lord explained that everywhere in the world, people worship me with folded hands, they bow down to me. And this is typically the way in which people approach God all over the world. In Islam, they do namaz, they bow down. In Christian church, they do this and they kneel, they bow, they offer their prostrated obeisances to God. But Krishna says, this doesn't, he's explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this doesn't satisfy me. That bhakti is made weak, it's made feeble by this mood of Aishwarya, this mood of awe and reverence does not please me. I'm not satisfied with this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish these wonderful, loving relationships, and this is called Ragamarg. And this is ultimately what he came to give. I'll read one quote here. Let's see. Yes, and Chaitanya, again, in chapter 4, Chaitanya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, sorry. Prema rasanya rasya karite aswadan raga marga bhakti loke karite pracharan. Rasika shekara Krishna parama karuna e dui hetu haite ichara udgama. Translation: the Lord's desire to appear was born for two reasons. The Lord wanted to taste the sweet essence of the mellows of love of God, and he wanted to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. Thus, he is known as supremely jubilant and is the most merciful of all. That Raga Marga means the path of spontaneous attraction. Raga Marga is our objective, but we should understand this very carefully. Raga Marga is not for beginners. Sometimes we hear people talking very high talk about Raga Marga, Raganuga Bhakti, but they're not even following the principles of Svaidhi Bhakti. They may be following, 3.5 regulative principles, 2 regulative principles, chanting japa sometimes, but they're talking very high talk about Raganuga Bhakti. This is all bogus. After you've been chanting japa for 30, 40 years, strictly following the principles of Krishna consciousness, when you've passed beyond anartha nibriti, come to ruchi and asakti, when feeling love begins to dawn in your heart, then Raganuga Bhakti. This is our goal. Don't misunderstand. This is the expected outcome of the practice of our Vaidhi Bhakti, of rules and regulations. And Raganuga Bhakti doesn't mean giving up rules and regulations. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis, who is the Rasa Acharya and our whole parampara, he said that his principles of bhakti, his regulative principles were like lines written in stone. You can't erase a line written in stone. So his principles were like that. He would offer obeisances every day, so many times. He'd circumambulate Radhakund so many times. He'd offer obeisances to Vaishnavas so many times. He'd chant so many rounds of japa every day without fail. This was his sadhana, his irrevocables. So Raganuga doesn't mean you don't follow rules anymore, but it means you don't have to follow. You're not bound by the rule, by the law of rule. You're bound with the rule of love. Let me repeat that. It's an important thing to understand. Raganuga Bhakti means you're not bound by the law of rules. You're bound by the law of love. Let me give you an example. It's like if you're driving to work for the first time. Let's say you're a new driver also, and you're behind the wheel and you're nervous and you're following your GPS or you're following the map and you're driving very, very carefully because you've never gone this way before. You don't know where the names of the streets, the stoplights, the turns, the hazards, and you're very, very careful because you have to do everything just right without to make any offense, get in an accident, make any mistake. You're driving very, very carefully because you've never done it before. Now, if you've been driving to work for 10 years, you can drive to work with your eyes closed. You're still following the rules, but you're spontaneous. You don't have to follow the road signs because you know very well what is the path. So it's a crude example, but Raganuga Bhakti is something like that, where we're following in the path of the inhabitants of Vrindavan who have spontaneous love of God. And this is the process, to follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan and try and love Krishna like they love Krishna. And this whole Kartik Maas is in this mood, the mood of Mother Yashoda's love for her son. We pray, idam te mukam bhojam attanta nilaya vritam kuntalai snigdharaktaishta gopya muschambitam bimbarakta dharamne manasya virastam malam lakshalavai. That she's caressing God, Krishna, Balgopal, whose beautiful lotus-like face is encircled by locks of dark black curling hair. His face has become reddened. His cheeks have become reddened by the kisses of Mother Yashoda. Imagine this. Put your mind in this scene. that Mother Yashoda is kissing Krishna's face. She's kissing God's face. Who can kiss God's face? Only a devotee. Who can tie God up? Only a devotee. Bhakti Badam, he's tied up by bhakti. And bhakti means love. And love means endeavor. Mother Yashoda is struggling like anything. Her body is sweating. She's breathing heavily because Mother Yashoda has a very heavy body. Large breasts, very big hips, big body. But she's chasing this Krishna, trying to catch him. And her body is sweating and she's breathing and perspiring. Her hair is becoming loose and flowers are falling from her hair. And finally, caught you. Got you. And when she goes to tie him up, she gathers all of, she had 100 feet, more than 100 feet of rope trying to bind Krishna. And regardless of how much rope she added to the total, it was always 2 inches too short. So those 2 inches represent something very important in our progress of Krishna Bhakti, in our progress toward achieving what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. One is prayas. We have to work. It's not that you kick back, yeah, whatever, I'll become Krishna conscious when Krishna wants me to become Krishna conscious. Take it easy, don't try too hard, everything will happen in time. You have to work hard. You have to be dedicated. Dhrida Vrata, dedicated to the process of Krishna Bhakti. Prayas. Mother Yashoda wasn't like, oh, when Krishna comes back, I'll grab him. Next time he comes by. She's chasing him. We also have to chase Krishna by our struggle to be better devotees, to be the best devotee we can be. Prayas. But ultimately, kripa. Because no matter how much Mother Yashoda was struggling, she still could not bind Krishna. No matter how much rope she tied to the existing length, she could not bind Krishna until Krishna agreed to be bound. Bhakti Badham. So those 2 things we have to do. And by that, by kripa, by mercy of the Lord, by our endeavor in Krishna Bhakti, Krishna becomes bound. So this is our objective, to establish a relationship, a personal, loving relationship of one of these rasas with Krishna, and to enter that relationship at the end of life. This is the highest objective. We have very, very high objective in life. Not just to make money, to become popular, to raise a family, increase the bank balance. The whole world is doing that. And that comes automatically by a person's karma. But what is our objective? Our objective is to enter into Krishna Lila, to join Mother Yashoda's entourage, to join Lalita, Vishaka's entourage, to join Subal and Sridham's entourage, and to love Krishna in one of these relationships, to participate in Krishna Lila in one of these relationships. It's like cowherd boys, the Gopals, the Gwal Bals, because this is Krishna's happiness. He loves to take care of cows. He's Gopal and Gopati, Govinda. He lives in Goloka. He loves to take care of cows. So they're fanning Krishna with big lotus leaves, and they fan Krishna. They massage his legs. They fix his hair. They cut jokes with Krishna. They carry messages from the gopis. They deliver betel nuts, this pan with the, what do they call it? The tambula, with the pan leaves and kata and chuna and different tasteful spices. They deliver. Gopis are making, cowherd boys are delivering. They deliver flower garlands prepared by Palika and Tarika. They're serving Krishna in this way. They wrestle, they help him. They're thinking we have to help Krishna fight these demons. They wrestle, they dance, they sing, they play ball, they play chess. They're having so much fun. But they have no idea that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. They think he's just one of us. In fact, they challenge Krishna. You read, I think in the same 4th chapter, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila. It's a wonderful, wonderful chapter in Shastra. They challenge Krishna. You think you're a big man because Krishna is just one of the guys. one of the boys. And they challenge him, you think you're a big man? Come on, you and me, let's wrestle, let's fight. I'll show you. I'll defeat you. I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. And Krishna is enjoying like anything. He's enjoying this like anything. Same thing, Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is chastising Krishna. She's chasing Krishna with her stick. Shastra says, Apana sansiting goryam yannama viviso granan tata sadyo vimucheta yad babeti swayam bayam. That fear personified is afraid of Krishna. But Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda's stick. And his rudantam muho netra jugmam vijantam karam bhoja jugmeina satanka netra muhushvasa kampa tire kampa kanta stita graiva damodaram bhakti bandham. What is happening? Mother Yashoda is chasing him, and she catches him, and he becomes fearful. She's going to hit me. And he's rubbing his eyes. Tears are streaming down his face. Mascara is coming down his face. He's breathing. The pearl necklace on his neck is shaking around the beautiful neck that is marked with 3 lines. This is the vision of the great devotees. That Krishna becomes subordinate to his devotee. Nanda Godhana Rakoala. That he's taking care of 9 lakhs of Nanda Maharaj's cows. He becomes Gopal, Gwalba, one of the boys. And when he's taking out, sometimes he sneaks there, boys are taking care of the cows, and Krishna sneaks off to play with gopis. Eternal, loving, intimate relationships with the residents in Vrindavan, and we can go there. We can go there by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is what he's offering to us. Krishna Prema Pradaya. It's not some phantasmagoria. It's not a myth. It's not a fairy tale. In this lifetime, Chaktva Deham Punar Janma Naiti Mameti Sarjana, we can go there. Enter Krishna Lila. This is our objective. Sometimes devotees, they become bored with their sadhana. They think, oh, I'm not getting any taste. I'm not feeling the ecstasy. Why? Because we forget what is possible by what we're doing. What is possible by our sadhana? What is available to us by this chanting, by this reading, by sadhana, by donating, by sacrificing, by serving, by controlling senses, the whole process of Vaidhi Bhakti sadhana. What does that blossom into? What is the fruit of our sadhana? Raga. We have to pass through the anartha nibriti. This is why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, Pujala Ragapada Gaurava Bhange. That Raga Marg, Raganuga Bhakti, is our objective. But we keep it over our head. We worship this. We worship the Raga of the Ragatmika devotees of Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda, and the Gopis, the Gopas, the eternal Parishad, Nitya Parishad of the Lord, eternal associates of the Lord. We worship them, and we aspire to worship the Lord and love the Lord like they love the Lord. There's no other objective. So this is Raga Marg, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give this. And this is, the meaning is that, like, we follow some rules. And Raga means that by Vaidhi, the rule of love, the role of law becomes a rule of love. And that which appears to be poisonous to us, getting up early, controlling senses, donating money, doing all these things, sadhana bhakti, that's really against our conditioned nature, to just not have any restriction, have any rules, just do whatever feels good. It's against our conditioned nature. So it may appear to be poison, but that poison becomes food by the process of bhakti. As raga, as ruchi, all these emotional ecstasies appear in our heart, that which appears to be like poison, becomes our very food. We take relish in chanting the holy name. We relish getting up. We can hardly wait. Why sleeping is just waste of time? Let me get up. I can be chanting. I can be reading. I can be going to the temple. We become spontaneous in the devotional service. And with the awakening of raga, we lose the desire to deviate. There's a story about another definition to give us some glimpse of what is raga. A college professor was giving an examination. And as in any examination, there's a time limit. So whatever that limit, then there's a number of questions. There's 20 questions, and then you have 2 hours or 3 hours to write the exam. So one student only answered one question. So he thought, I probably failed, what to do, I did my best. But it turns out, when the scores were announced, he was the top scorer. He got top grade. Why? Because of the depth of his understanding of the subject in one question. So raga is something like that, where we are not bound by vidhi marg. We're not bound by the rules because we're understood the goal of the rules, to love Krishna. Even one time, Srila Prabhupada walked in the kitchen. There was some food stuff on the table, and he picked up, popped some in his mouth. He said, I can do this, you cannot. So we can't imitate. We can't imitate the bhakti, the raga, the devotion of the residents in Vrindavan that walk amongst us. We have to follow the rules. Another example Prabhupada gave was about Lord Gladstone. Lord Gladstone was in charge of the whole British Raj during the unlawful occupation, unlawful emphasis on unlawful occupation of India. And one man went in to see him. He made an appointment, he came in, the secretary said, please sit down, Lord Gladstone is busy. So he's waiting, half an hour passed, 1 hour passed, hour and a half, he's thinking, what is Lord Gladstone doing? So he sneaks up to the door and peeks through the keyhole. And Lord Gladstone is on the floor and his grandchild is on his back, and Lord Gladstone is pretending like he's a horse and his child is riding him. So he's a big, big, important man, but he's taken such a subordinate position to his grandchild out of love. So Krishna is like this. Out of love, out of raga, out of feeling for Krishna, Krishna becomes subordinate to his devotee. He takes care of Nanda Maharaj's cows. He brings Nanda Maharaj's shoes on his head, say, here is your shoes, Father. He becomes the chariot driver of Arjuna. Mahabharata is full of story, one story after another, how Krishna always favored the Pandavas, how he loved the Pandavas, how the Pandavas loved him. This is bhakti. And this is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. But we can't imitate raga. Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj gave a nice example because he was expert. He actually in his later years, he went blind, but he was completely omniscient. Sometimes he would explain, how horrible, shameful, shameful. That Pandit is cohabiting with a prostitute. Some big, big Pandit who is making a living by speaking Srimad Bhagavatam was actually fallen. And he could see everything within his heart of hearts. So one time there was one young Babaji who, for the sake of prestige and respect in society, to get some dakshina and offerings from the public, he made a kutir, a little bhajan kutir, next or in the same area as Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And he'd make noises like doing bhajans, singing and carrying on, and people would, oh, great devotee, great devotee. So Gaurkishore Das Babaji made one wry comment. He said, just like if a woman goes to the birthing room where they deliver children, if she goes to the birthing room and just howls and makes noises like she's having a child, she cannot produce a child. He said, many things have to happen before the production of a child. Just going to the birthing room and howling, oh, I'm in pain, oh, it hurts so much. like she's delivering a child. Is it possible? So we can't imitate the activities of great devotees. Or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur once commented about one so-called Babaji, who, because you see this at Radha Kund sometimes, they're very saintly people there also, but also predominance of many bogus people. So sometimes you see this Gauranga Nagari people, they dress up like a gopi, and they'll have a braid in back, and they'll stuff their shirt, and they'll wear kankan and bindi and the whole thing, sari. And one of these so-called gopis, it turns out, became a father. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made some comment, oh, the gopis become a father, now he has a child. So these things are going on, an imitation. So we keep this as our goal because this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. He came to give Raga Bhakti, nothing less than that. But to get that, we should be very careful very strict in our sadhana bhakti. Now, we also, the esoteric part of this discussion, because this is all in the category of the external reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. He came to inaugurate sankirtan, the chanting of the holy name. What do we get from Nam Sankirtan? We get prema, prema payadhan. By offenseless chanting of the holy name and Hari Nam Sankirtan, what is the result? Krishna prema. From Krishna Nama, we get Krishna prema. So Mahaprabhu came to give that. But second reason, the esoteric reason. Exoteric means what is easily understood. Why did he come? He came to do this and do this and do this. Okay, we discussed. But he also had his own internal reason, which is described as the main reason that he came. And that is the esoteric reason. Esoteric means that which is not easily understood. So these verses are there in Chaitanya Charitamrita in the very first chapter to introduce these ideas. There it said, Shri Radhaya Mahima Kiddushovana Swadjo Yenadbhutat Bodhirima Kiddushovam Adiya Sokyam Chasya Manunu Bhavata Kiddisham Veti Lovat Tadbhavadya Samajani Sachigarba Sindhu Harindu. This verse, the sixth verse of the series, describes the esoteric reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to come, why he came to this world. Three things. He came desiring to understand Srimati Radharani's love. What is it that just drives her mad? What is the glory of her love? Because Krishna can't understand, he can't taste that himself, like sugar. Sugar can't taste sweetness. There has to be a taster. So Krishna can't understand what is Radharani's experience. So he comes with the mood, Radha Bhava Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupa. That he comes with the bhava, he's Krishna Swarup. That externally, he's Gora, golden, but internally, he's Krishna, blackish. He's Krishna, Radha Bhava Suvalitam. So Radha Bhava, with the effulgence, the mercy, the beauty of Srimati Radharani, the mood of Srimati Radharani. But he's Krishna. Internally, he's Krishna. But externally, he's Gauranga, Gaur Hari, Gaur Sundar. But Gaur Sundar, the Sham Sundar has become Gaur Sundar. Why? Trying to understand the glory of Srimati Radharani's love. Second thing, the qualities in Krishna that she alone relishes by her love. What is Krishna is trying to understand? What is it about me that drives Srimati Radharani mad? Why is she so attached? And I mean, there's a whole discussion in Chaitanya Charitamrita about who is Radharani also, which is a separate class. This is beyond the scope of this class. But we read in Brahma Samhita. what is that? Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavistabhirya Eja Nija Rupataya Kalavi. That who are the gopis? Who is Srimati Radharani? Nija Rupataya Kalavi. They're Krishna's own form. Who is Srimati Radharani? She is the full energy, and Krishna is the energetic, the source. But they're the same, like sun and sunlight, or musk and its fragrance. What is the meaning to musk if it has no fragrance? What is the meaning to the sun without sunlight? So what is the meaning to Krishna without Radharani? And what is the meaning to Radharani without Krishna? So Radha Krishna Prani Vikriti Ladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmanam Bhuvi Puradeha Vedam Budoto Chaitanyakam Prakadamadhanam Taddayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhava Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupa. He is Krishna Swarupa. Radha and Krishna, the highest irreducible tattva. When we want to discuss who is the highest form of God, Radha Krishna. Not just Krishna, Radha Krishna. Krishna and his Ladini Shakti Srimati Radharani. And they're eternally separate, but those two eternally separate identities have become one in the personality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? For these three things. To understand what is it about Krishna saying, what is it about me that she is relishing by her love? And third thing, what is the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of my love for her? This reciprocation. Krishna comes because he can't taste it himself, and he can't taste Radharani's experience, so he takes the mood and personality of Radharani to experience it. This is the esoteric understanding of the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared in the womb of Sachi Mata as the moon appears from the ocean. Sachi Garba Sindhu Harindu. Like if you're on the coast, it may appear that the moon has risen from the ocean. The moon doesn't come from the ocean, but it appears to come from the ocean. So Sachi Garba Sindhu Harindu, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared from the womb of Sachi Mata, although he is the supreme omniscient personality of Godhead. But in Leela, he has his mother, Sachi Mata, Yashoda, who is not different from Yashoda Maya. These are the esoteric reasons, the internal reasons for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, for his own personal agenda. Secondary agenda was to spread this Nam Sankirtan movement and to distribute this love of God all over the world. So the more we enter into, this is an important thing, the more we enter into the exoteric reason of preaching Krishna consciousness, opening temples, distributing books, preaching Krishna bhakti, the more we participate in that, the more we're able to enter into the internal esoteric relationship with the Lord as one of his eternal associates. There's a beautiful verse spoken by Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. He said, Yata yata gora padara vandeta bhaktim kriti punya rasi tatatu tut sarvate vidyaka smat radha padam boja sudamburasi. That the more one takes shelter of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the more one finds oneself ecstatically engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And this is the highest esoteric objective of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Radhe Vrindavanadishe Karunamrita Vahini Kripayani Jupadabja Dasyam Majam Vidiyatam. Devotee prays, O Srimati Radharani, you're a river flowing with unlimited mercy. Please give me some service at your lotus feet. Radha Dasyam. How to get Radha Dasyam? Highest objective of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, serving Gaura, the mission, the exoteric mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to distribute books, open temples, preach, distribute prasadam, help people, enlighten people, educate people, in this way attract the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we can be eligible to receive his magnanimity, his Gaura Krishna Prema Pradayati, that we become eligible to taste Krishna Prema, even in Kali Yuga. So we discussed some few things about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is very, very deep subject matter. And as I was saying, I'm not very qualified to speak on this subject. It's a very high subject. But I presented as much as I was able from Shastra and from what little bit I've been able to learn from Srila Prabhupada. So I hope that was helpful to you. Does anyone have any question or comment?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your nice lecture. So we invite the participants to ask questions. So please go ahead, asking questions. I start with my questions, so other can also wait for that.
Okay.
Prabhuji, my question is that although I have fondness or I have liking for reading scriptures, or I have liking for hearing scriptures from senior devotees like you, but in that context of chanting, I don't feel so much attachment. So how to increase my taste for chanting? So please suggest something, Prabhuji.
The first thing, one of the reasons we don't feel taste for chanting is that we're not chanting. Our mouth is running, our fingers are running, but our mind is running somewhere else. We're not actually hearing Krishna and remembering Krishna. We're not hearing Hare and remembering Srimati Radharani. Our mouth is moving and we're pulling beads, but we're not present. This is one thing we can learn from Buddhism, is to be mindful. If you're eating prasadam, be mindful. This is Krishna prasadam. We typically become absorbed in the taste, and we may be talking and chatting and playing with our phone, doing many things, even while we're eating. We should, when we're eating, eat. When we're chanting, chant, and be mindful, be present. So the formula is described in Bhagavad Gita. Yato nischalati manaschanchalam astiram tatastito neyam yaita datmane vivashamne. Which means to whatever and wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one should drag it back under control of the self. So this is the challenge of japa. The mind is going here and there. Manaschanchalam astiram. Astiram means it doesn't like to focus on any one thing. This mind's nature loves to wander, doesn't like to focus, doesn't like to be under control. But for japa, we have to control our mind and continually bring it back to Krishna, to hear Krishna's name, to remember Krishna. We say, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto, but fix your mind on me. So japa is the first class opportunity that every day when you pick up your japa mala, remember, now is my Krishna time. My dear mind, put away the phone, put away this, put away, and just focus on hearing Krishna's name. And this is where it begins. By hearing, gradually a higher realm of understanding becomes available. Then your mind can jump to Krishna's beauty, his form, his lila, his associates, his power, his mercy, his love. But first we have to hear. We have to hear Krishna. You have to hear Rama. And focus on Krishna and in his lila as Radhika Raman, Gopika Ramana, his beauty as Krishna. And bring our mind to that. And if we don't do that, then it becomes mechanical. So it's a struggle. Every day it's a struggle. But if we don't struggle, then we don't achieve the goal. No one said it was easy. So that's my understanding, Prabhu. I hope that's helpful to you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Actually, we take pledge in front of the Guru at the time of initiation that every day, minimum 16 rounds, I should chant. So that is the pledge I should fulfill every day since death, till death.
Yeah. See, the other thing, Prabhu, is that as we make progress in spiritual life, our mind becomes attracted to Krishna naturally. And you don't have to force the mind. If you love someone, you don't have to tell your mind, oh, think of this person. Out of love, your mind naturally gravitates towards them.
Yes,
Prabhuji. So that's a higher stage, but being in the lower stage, we have to learn to control the mind and focus on what we're doing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And one more thing, Prabhuji, total Chaitanya Charitamrita, I want to, make around 50 to 55, 60 topics in lecture series. So I share you the topics. So in a month, 1 or 2 lecture on Chaitanya Charitamrita. But I think that within 60 topics, if I go through Adi Lila, then Madhya Lila, then Anta Lila, so we can cover the total Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I'll share that topic so that if anything missing, so you can guide me, Prabhuji. I need your kind guidance, Prabhuji, in that matter.
Well, you're doing a very nice job, Prabhu. If I don't see any fault at all.
Yeah, and first thing, Prabhuji, the starting has been done by you, Prabhuji. Starting today is the starting of Chaitanya Charitamrita. You have done it so nicely.
Oh, okay. Good. Actually, this is more of a class towards the end, but anyway, it's nice. It's a very important topic.
Yeah, and please ask questions. So time is running out.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My humble obeisances. Nice class.
Pranam to you.
Prabhuji, my question is that can we only please Krishna by Raganuga Bhakti? Means by sadhana bhakti is Krishna pleased? Because
of course, it's just like a parent. They see their baby, the baby can't, in the beginning, it can't even turn itself over. Then it can turn itself over, then it learns to crawl, then one day it's up on its feet walking. So when the baby is crawling, doesn't mean the parents are not pleased. Hey, come on, get up. I'm not pleased with you until you walk and run and jump. No, parents are patient. They're patiently encouraging the baby, and they know in due course of time, the child will be running and jumping and playing. So Krishna is always pleased, because consider this. Just in my backyard here, their devotees are growing some sag and some dhania pata and eggplant, tomatoes like this. So it's a big tract of land. There are literally billions of living beings just in that little tract of land. Worms and insects and ants and blades of grass and microscopic creatures. They're all souls like you and me. By their karma, they're a worm and we're human beings. But they're souls just like us. There are billions, innumerable living beings scattered all over the universe. And this is just one little plot of land and a piece of dust we call Earth. How many billions of living beings are there? So how rare is it that if out of billions of living beings, that one living being, one Atma, takes up the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Yoga Dharma. Krishna says, I can never forget someone who chants my name. So whatever else happens in our life, our whole life is perfect because we've come to Krishna consciousness. So we're neophyte devotees. There's a whole world of pure devotional service and ecstasies and devotional ecstasy, and tears of love and hair standing on end, and a whole world of ecstatic emotion that we may just begin to taste. But it doesn't mean that Krishna is not pleased. Krishna is completely satisfied if someone just offers him a glass of water and one tulsi leaf. When Advaita Acharya was calling the Lord, there's one verse that says, Jalasya Kula, no. Tulasi Dalamatrena Jalasya Kula, I'm forgetting the verse now. Vikrinite Tanatmanam Bhaktivyo Bhaktivatsal. It says, if someone just offers me a palm full of water and one tulsi leaf, there's no wealth within I have no capacity. I have no wealth to reciprocate. Therefore, I give myself just to the person who offers me tulsi and water. Simple thing. Any poor man, any person anywhere in the world can offer tulsi leaf and water to Krishna. Such a small thing, such a beginning baby step in devotional life. But Krishna is so pleased that I don't have anything, the wealth within my power to reciprocate such an offering. Therefore, I give myself. Krishna is very, very pleased with devotee who comes and takes up the process of Krishna Bhakti. But real reciprocation, emotional reciprocation of love comes will definitely come in course of time with the process of sadhana bhakti. So it's not just raga. Raga will come, but we have to, just like if you want to grow mangoes, you put the seed in the ground and you fence it off, you give it water, you fertilize it, give it a nice sunny place, gets lots of sun, and it'll give some sprout. Then it becomes a small tree. And many, but if you think, where's the mango? Hey, come on, I want mango. Where's the mango? We have to be patient. It will come in course of time. We have to be patient. Utsaha nishchayat daryat. We have to be enthusiastic. We should be convinced, but we have to be patient also. The mango, the sweet, juicy mango of love of God, raga bhakti, raga nuga bhakti, will come, but we have to be patient. And we have to prosecute our regulated activities of Vaidhi Bhakti in a very strict way, to the best of our ability, according to circumstance, knowing that this is available to me in this lifetime. You're a young devotee, Mataji. You have your whole life in front of you. In this lifetime, you can experience love of God. It's within your grasp, just by doing what you're doing. You're very, very fortunate.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So anyone has any question, please ask quickly.
Hello, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Vishnu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
I'm sorry, I joined very late in the lecture because I had to do Mangalarti in the temple, in our Vancouver temple.
Vancouver, BC.
Vancouver, BC, yes.
Oh, you please offer my respectful obeisances to Partha Prabhu. Yes,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
I think it's at Saranagati though.
Yeah, I think he's in Sharanagati, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay. I was there for the installation of Radha Madan Mohan.
Wow. Hari Bol.
When they were installed. We came up I joined in Portland. So we drove up from Portland, Oregon, and we were all there for the installation of Radha Madan Mohan.
Wow. That's amazing, Prabhu. So today I sang the Mangalarti because our temple president is in Vrindavan now. So there is nobody organizing the Mangalarti, so I had to do the seva. So I was busy there.
Oh,
but
nice.
I want to ask a quick question to you, Prabhuji. So I have Chaitanya Charitamrita with me, all the books set with me. So what is the approach I should take in reading it? Like, should I read verse by verse or chapter by chapter in understanding it?
What I like to do, you're welcome to create your own system, but what I like to do is read through the translations of a whole chapter. So I get the storyline and I understand the topics that are being discussed and get especially when the Leela things. First few chapters are more technical, but later as you progress, you'll see the storyline. Sanatan, Siksha, Rupa Siksha, Ramananda, Samvad. Then you get the storyline. And just discipline yourself not to start reading the purports and get distracted, because there's some very juicy purports. Read the storyline, translations, and then come back and work your way through the Srila Prabhupada's purports, because there's amazing purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Sure, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. I will do that, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. And it's actually bona fide. There's a word for it also. I can't remember. Devotees read Bhagavatam in the same way. Just read translations, then come back and read commentary. Otherwise, you can get lost in the purports and your progress is just, you've been reading for a month and you forgot what you read in week 1 because you're already in week 7. And what did I read in week 1? But if you read all the translations,
Yes.
then you have the storyline and you can go back and go deeper in Srila Prabhupada's beautiful purports.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure, Prabhuji. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Thank you for taking good care of Radha Madan Mohan.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. He blessed me actually.
Yeah.
I'm so actually I don't deserve it, but he blessed me. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. See, as you're taking care of them, they're also taking care of you.
Yeah.
So, so you can ask questions, or otherwise we can end the session. So if you do not have any questions, Prabhuji, thank you so much for your wonderful lecture and associations. We request you at least one lecture in a month, Prabhuji, in days to come.
At your service, Dasosmi.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Thank you, all devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.